Hey y'all, how's it going? This is Mr. Product Reviews here, and today we are going to review the Joovv Quad. That's like one of their models. So as you can see, is from the boxes, it's quite substantial here. So just in case that like if you are planning to have this shipped to say your workplace, right, for example, and then you're gonna ship it back, like put it in your car and take it back home per se, because this is a it's $39.95, so it's almost $4,000, and chances are you probably don't want to like leave this at your doorstep and then wait for you to come home or whatever. So definitely you might want to think about shipping this to a business address or your work address, just so you know that like your package will be secured. And so another thing is, right, like if you're gonna buy something like the quad, a Joovv Quad, there's a lot of boxes here, so you want to make sure that like you have like a van or a pickup just to pick this up, or if you have a pretty big sedan, that's another way to do it. So just to kind of like give you guys some idea as to what the dimension of these boxes are, so that you can like arrange your transportation accordingly. So the dimension, so like it looks like these boxes are, I guess each of them is one light unit, so it's a quad, so there's 4 lights here, so each of the box should be 1 light. And so here are the box dimension for one of the boxes. So I just wrote it down so it's easier for you guys to. Is 41 by 14 by 6.5 inches, in case you need to do some calculation in your car just to see if it fits or not. So there's that in terms of just the light. And so we also bought a wall mount accessory, and as you can see here, it comes in a separate brown box. So total is 5 boxes, quite substantial. So in terms of this box, the dimension is 21 by 14 and a half by 11. So there you go, the dimension of these boxes. And next I'm going to open one of the lights, and also we're gonna open the accessory box just to see what's in there. And well, talk to you in a bit. So before I do a inventory of what's inside this Joovv light, I just wanted to show you guys that so this is the box it came with. So this is the transportation box that it came with, and you notice there's like like I don't even know how that happens, and like there's some damages on the outside of the box, and as you can see, I'm gonna flip it over. And it does tell you that like, hey, this is a fragile unit and stuff like that. I mean, I guess FedEx is what it is, right? It's a transportation service, and maybe they don't really care about what's on the box. But just wanted to people to know that. I mean, look at this here. I mean, this is quite extensive damage on the box. So it is kind of crazy how like a box that says fragile unit, be careful, and this is how things are being transported. But luckily, as you can see, when you pull the unit out from the box, there's actually an additional Joovv box that wraps around it for added protection. And also inside, you see there's also a layer of styrofoam just to protect the unit. So I don't know whether this unit will work or not, given on such abusive transportation practices. I mean, shame on you, FedEx, right? It is supposedly is a better premium service than UPS or USPS, but this is kind of crazy seeing this type of damages on a box. But I just want to point that out. It does look like it comes it comes pretty protected, but I don't know. I haven't turned on the unit yet, so like we will see when I actually take this out. But I just wanted to point out to you guys that like your mileage may vary with transportation services when it does get to you. So anyway, we'll see you in the next video on what's inside. All right, so here's the unit unboxed, and as you can see, it's protected by 2 layers of styrofoam during transportation. So it looks like this unit is pretty well protected. As I mentioned, I haven't turned this unit on yet, so we'll see how that adds up when we do actually turn it on. And also over here, they even have they even have the logo and the brand name on the styrofoam itself. So you see the little, icon followed by the name. So good job on branding there on the marketing department. So as you can see, so we're just gonna go through a quick inventory of this unit real quick. So it comes in a box like this, and inside this box, it comes with the power cord, and it looks like these are mounting brackets for the light. We will see as we move along here. And then it comes with the user manual instruction booklet for, I guess, all the units here for the mini, solo, dual, quad, and elite. So the one that we're doing today is quad, just a FYI. So I guess it comes with all the good instruction on here. So I'll be probably reviewing, this instruction booklet as we will install this unit here. So as you can see, this is the unit. Let me do a close-up on how the lights looks like. How it captures, the quality of it, if you guys want to know. And so what's really nice too is it did say no, lights from these near infrared LEDs is invisible. So that's good to know. So I guess when you turn it on, you won't necessarily see, I guess, lights coming out from these bulbs here, I guess. So we'll see when we turn it on. But yep, so this is the unit. Let me just do a slow panoramic of this. So it's wrapped in plastic. Again, another layer of protection for the unit. So next thing is, before we go to the next thing, so this unit comes from that box over there, and it will be way easier if you have two people doing it. I mean, this is a very expensive unit, right? So I definitely don't want to take any chances in terms of like, just try to take it out and accidentally drop the unit. So so it's much easier if you have two people. So as one person pull with the unit out of the box, the other person can hold the box down. So it makes it way easier for you to get the unit out. I mean, you could do it with one person, but I think with two people is way easier. And for an expensive unit like this, I don't take any chances. So just an FYI on that. So I think the next thing is what I'll do is I'll probably assemble this Joovv unit along with the other three so that you can see what a Joovv Quad will look like and how it stands and how tall it is and whatnot, just to kind of give you guys a dimension of how that would be like if you were having this in your house, in your apartment, or what have you. So talk to you in a bit. All right, so I was wondering what's inside that brown box. And as I mentioned before, I thought it was going to be the mounting accessories for this unit, and it turns out I was correct. So this brown box basically came with sort of like all the mounting accessories for me to install the Joovv Quad unit. And so we'll do a quick inventory of what's inside the box. So nice thing is this box came with lots and lots of bubbles, so like just to protect it from transportation. So I mean, it was good that they did, because the box came pretty dinged up, just a little bit. I mean, it was dinged up definitely. So with lots of bubbles, so at least that helps with transporting the unit. So let's check it out. So we got some instructions on how to install some of these wirings, and then some detailed instruction on how to install the Joovv Quad. Is it double-sided? Yep, looks like it's double-sided with some good information. I'm sure I will be reviewing this instruction as I install this unit. So it comes with this, I guess this is the attachment for the lights, just to attach them side by side. Comes with, I guess, tons and tons of mounting accessories. And I guess these are, units that you connect with the lights, with the various lights. So it looks like they're like headphone jacks size jacks here. There it comes with 4 because I have 4 lights, I believe. Yeah, it looks like 5 actually. So we'll see how this all works out. When I go through the instruction, it comes with 2 of these power cord thingy to, I guess, connect to line up all the lights. I guess you'll daisy chain the lights together to keep it power. And then you have this humongous mounting bracket that you see, and this side up, I guess this end up. So I guess if you're installing this, be aware that this end is up, so to say, when you're mounting it. So yeah, looks like this is all the stuff from the mounting unit, and see you in the next video. All right, so before I assemble the unit together, I just wanted to show you what the back of the unit looks like. So from the back, you see there are these fans here to cool off the lights, I guess. And then, so you have, I guess this is kind of like the master power switch here. And these two jacks allows you to kind of link up the units together based on the instruction. And so as you can see over here, there's a lead mode, neutral, and follow mode. So I guess that would allow you to sort of like link up the lights together, so that if you have the lights set at infrared or infrared, and it would just kind of communicate between the various units. At least that's what I think how that would work, just based on the instruction here. So it looks like, so the top jack is control multiple devices with the lead mode, and then second one is neutral, so it's used for a single device, and then follow mode is connect to a lead device. So I guess whatever the lead is, it will, and whatever you're connected to, the follow one would just do exactly that. So before I get to that stuff, there is some conflicting information on the instruction, which I will show you in a bit, but I just want to show you how this looks like from the back. And then on the side of the unit, this is where kind of like where all the control is. I'll definitely go into this in a bit too, but so you got time, you got, I guess, play, pause, and the various modes. So it looks like there's red and infrared, and I assume that you could do red, infrared at the same time, or red or infrared. At least that's what I assume how that would work. And then these arrows over here, it kind of links over here, so like I just want to show you. So these arrows here, and then in the back again, just more instruction on Joovv, and I think that's good. So I guess each time you press that button, it increase time by 1 minute. Yep, looks like I was right. Play, pause session, and then you select your wavelength. And again, just a quick disclaimer from Joovv that near infrared LED emit light that is not visible to the naked eye. So again, just another FYI from them that like you won't see the light from the near infrared. So yeah, now let's talk about this kind of like follow and no follow mode. I found some conflicting information in the instruction manual. I just wanted to point that out. Perhaps maybe if Joovv was, watching my video, maybe you guys can fix this. To me, it's a little bit conflicting. So over here, let's see. It says, after connecting each device with an auxiliary cable, turn all the pairing switches to neutral, as shown in figure B. So I'm supposed to set this to neutral, looks like. And this is for, doesn't really tell me. Okay, so this is for quad, and yeah, so it says to set all of them to neutral. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, fair, like that makes sense to me. But then over here in this thicker handbook that comes with every light on the quad part, on the Joovv Quad, the instruction over here says, locate the pairing switch on each of the devices, turn the switch on device number 1 to lead mode, then turn the pairing switch to on devices 2, 3, and 4 to follow mode. So again, it's kind of conflicting, right? You get on one end, you're saying, device 1 lead mode and rest of them follow. But then over here, you mention about neutral, setting them all to neutral. So I'm a little bit confused as to how that would work. So Joovv, if you're watching this video, hopefully you could get this instruction stuff fixed. I know it's not easy. I do UI UX myself. Lots of information on this. So if you happen to watch this, I think this is something that you guys can easily fix, because it is conflicting, and I just don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll just set this up, and and you guys have some video, I believe. Yeah, and what's nice about the instruction manual too is it does tell you, let me find it. It's like so it does give you instruction, like if you prefer instructional setup video, please visit joovv.com/setup. I mean, that's pretty nice, but again, just lots and lots of information, and who knows what's the source of truth is now, right? Is it this booklet? Is it this piece of pamphlet that I see inside a box, or is it a video? I don't know what the source of truth is. So I guess we'll set it up and we'll see. I'm gonna try to, again, I'm really trying not to delay assembling this, but I just keep seeing new stuff coming up that just doesn't seem right so far. So we'll set this up and we'll see. All right, so I think I'm about halfway in terms of installing this unit here. So as you can see, you know, I lined up basically the 4 Joovv lights, 4 units here. So this is 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So 4 units. And remember the other boxes that came with the brackets and everything? So this top bracket will keep kind of like the topmost part secure. And you have an option to do it either on the first row or the second row. And I just choose to have it on the topmost row here. And then it does come with this metal mounting thingy to keep it nice and secure between the top units and the bottom units. So this is a very heavy duty metal right here to keep it nice and secure. And then the whole, all the basically, you know, extrusions, if you will, are cut out just right for it, as you can see. And nice job on the engineering team to make sure that, like, you know, there's the air that is able to vent out from it. So as you can see, this is how it looks like. And do take note that this end is up. You know, be aware of the direction of this bracket too. That like there is a correct position to mount this. So make sure that this points up. And again, it comes with another bracket over here, as you can see. So again, you have the option to do it on, you have 2 rows that you can choose to do it on. I just decided to do it on the most bottom row. And yeah, and all the holes are supposed to be lined up right, as you can see. So this should keep it nice and secured. So that's one of the options that you can mount this thing. And another option that you can mount this thing, which I'll probably not going to show in this video, is you can actually mount this. So in between, kind of like the separation here, there's these little attachment hooks that you can kind of insert and hook it up that way. So one of the advantage of that way is, say, if you want to, like, say, disassemble maybe the bottom half of the unit for traveling, or even one of the unit for traveling, it makes it a little bit easier for you to kind of like, you know, just take one of these units and go and travel with it. Versus if you have set up like this is more of a permanent setup. So the pro of this setup is, I feel like it's more secure. The unit is attached to a metal frame, so therefore, you know, there's less chances of it, you know, falling off or what have you. But then you lose that flexibility if you want to, like, take this, say you want to take one of these units out for traveling. I mean, as you can see, we'll have to kind of like put this down on the ground, unscrew a couple of brackets, and then take one unit out. Versus the other way, I feel it's not as secure. You mount it on a wall, because I think you might be more prone to, like, you know, one of the unit falling off. I don't think it will, but, you know, there's that chance, right? But however, you have the flexibility of, like, say, taking one of the unit, you know, out, so that you could go traveling with it. So pros and cons between the two. So depending on what your lifestyle is, you might mount these things accordingly. And for us, this is more of a permanent fixture in our apartment. So we're gonna do the more permanent solution, and which I also feel is more secured. So I'm gonna really try to, like, you know, I keep promising that I'm gonna have this unit, you know, up on a wall for you, but they're just these interesting things that comes up that I feel I need to address so that the viewers understand how everything works. So I apologize, but I'm gonna get to it, and hopefully the next video will be that. All right, I am really sorry, guys. I mean, this is supposed to be maybe a 15-minute installation, but it's already going on for an hour, close to an hour, given the fact that there's just a lot of, you know, discrepancies in terms of instructions that I am still trying to figure it out. So first things first, and I'm gonna come back to it in a bit on my next video in regards to this. So you notice that on here, the wire, you notice how there's, it's kind of weird how the way it's looped right here, and I feel like it's adding tension to the power cord. And just wanted to show you that, like, maybe I'm not, maybe I can't follow instruction. But here's the instruction where it says, I'm going to zoom in over here, where it says, all right, so you're supposed to plug in, so you're supposed to plug in the top left unit. You're supposed to go for the top plug here, and then you go to the bottom plug here. So that's exactly what I did. So I went from top, right, from the left, to the bottom at the right. So as you can see, there's added tension, which I thought is a really, really weird design, to be honest with you. So again, since I have a quad, I'm basically replicating the same thing down here, which again adds tension to it. Not really sure why that is, but I'm going to come back to this in a bit, because in their setup video they're doing it somewhat differently, and I just want to point that out to the viewers out there, and also to Joovv. If you happen to watch this, like, this is something probably you might want to fix. I mean, it's a $4,000 unit. I'm just hoping that, like, the instruction is at least clear, right? So another thing about this installation is I got these little, I think these are floor bumpers for to attach at the bottom of this unit down here. However, I don't know how to install this correctly. It looks like I don't have the right tool or the right adapters for it, so I have no idea how these floor bumpers is supposed to work, which is a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. And also this quad unit, when you purchase it, it comes with a couple options of, like, do you want to mount it on a wall, do you want to lean it on a wall, or is it on a mobile stand? And you have to pick one or the other. For a $4,000 unit, I mean, come on, right? Can't you just throw do the bone, right? Why can't you just throw in a couple more adapters, to this set? Like, just give us the mounting set. I mean, it's a $4,000 unit. It doesn't cost that much to throw in a screw or two in there, And plus, I live in an apartment, right? I might, move into a house, in the future. I might have a different setup. So it would just make things easier, to be honest with you. If you just happen to just throw, those extra couple adapters in there. I mean, it's just a couple of screws. I can't imagine it would cost that much. And another thing too is, so this bracket over here, it has lots of screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times it by 4 columns. So there's 24 bolts of these. And some of these screws are much easier to turn to screw into than the other, which leaves me to suspect that some of the holes are not drilled as specified, or not as close as specification. I mean, I got all of them in, but some of them definitely took more efforts than other. So again, Joovv, if you happen to watch this video, I think you might want to go back to your source, whoever you're working with in terms of sourcing and manufacturing. That's probably something you want to discuss with them in terms of, like, getting closer to specification in terms of, like, the holes for the unit. But like I said, I got all of them in, no problem. But for a better user experience, and for a unit that's $4,000, and your highest unit go for $6-7 I mean, right? I mean, I think people pay top dollars. I think quality should be a concern for you guys. So in my next video, I'm just going to show you the discrepancy in terms of, like, this adapter here, which I hope that Joovv would fix soon. So coming right up. So see you in a bit. So all right, so now we're back to that same question I was talking about in terms of, like, that extra tension that I have with the power adapter attachment. So here, as you can see, this is a YouTube video, and from the top right, you see how to set up your Joovv Quad. And I believe it looks professional enough that I believe this is the official setup video from Joovv. So as you can see from this video, you see that adapter at the top is at the left, and I'm gonna correlate that to the graphics that I showed you in my previous video. But you see this goes from left, and then it goes to right. So basically left, right, left, and then down here, right, to the right, right. And then this is your power source, right? So, okay, so cool. Now, okay, I'm gonna correlate this video here back to the infographics that I was, the instruction I was sent from Joovv in the box. So as you can see, this is on the right versus this one is on the left. And then so left goes to right, and this one is right goes to left, right? Super confusing, right? And then the power lead is at it's on the left, but then the power lead is actually on the bottom unit over here. So, you know, again, like, notice, right? So like, I'm a bit confused, to be honest with you, Joovv. Again, Joovv, I really think you should do a better job in terms of explaining how to set this up. It is a bit confusing. So again, you know, if you guys can fix this, that'll be great. So I'm a little bit confused as to, like, again, which is the source of truth? Is it the video? Is it this sheet that I'm looking at? Or is it there's this other instruction booklet that came with? So again, user who purchased this unit, if you have question, I have just as much questions like you are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install, basically I'm going to set it up per this video, since that this would not create that basically extra tension that I have in my case had I followed the infographic. So I'm going to go with this setup, and we'll see what happened when it turns on. And I guess I hope that the next video will be me getting that unit up on a wall and show you guys how it works. So see you in a bit. All right, so I finally got an answer from Joovv in terms of like how you can install these floor bumpers on the bottom of your Joovv. And based on, you know, what you see in the in the manual, the graphics, it's totally different than what you see in real life. So in the graphics, they actually show you that they have this kind of like plastic little adapter that you attach to it, and then you install at the bottom. But it turns out you actually get this kind of like, you know, this little nut and bolt at the bottom. And so if you just simply like, you know, put this in for here, and then you just push it in, you loosen that up a little bit. Oops, wrong way. So like, yeah, if you just push this in and just loosen it, I mean, it's kind of loose, right? And it's like, well, how does this work? And that's the question I had, you know, and I submitted a request to Joovv, and it took them about a day to reply back to me on that. And it turns out that it's not exactly like, I want to say it's common sense per se, because there wasn't any instruction. It was sort of like, you know, figure it out kind of thing. So someone at Joovv actually clued me in that like what you want to do is you want to push this in, right? And then you want to pull down and start turning. And that would gives it enough force for the bolt to sort of, the nut sort of stay in place while you can turn. And you can see this is not exactly easy per se. But yeah, I mean, I got one of these installed already, as you can see over here. I mean, it took me a little bit. So I would assume that for you at home that have a Joovv unit and you need to install this floor bumper, I figure this is probably what you need to do. And trust me, I know I'm having an issue with it, but trust me, it does eventually get tight like this. But it took me a little bit. But I just want to show the viewer that like this is how you install it. So what you want to do is want to push down, so that kind of push down, or however you want to say, like away from the unit, so that the bolt stay in place, so that you get some, you know, traction, some grip, and then you just turn, you know, to tighten it up. So, you know, as you can see, I'm having trouble doing this with one hand. So I'm just going to cut this video here, but I just want to show you this. Okay, so I got the Joovv light up attached to the wall. As you can see, there's like, you know, anchor to the left and right, guys. So I got this Joovv light, you know, all anchored up, you know, install, you know, against the wall. And I just wanted to just kind of like move down and just kind of show you how it looks like. And yes, that's kind of like my wife's little, you know, corner of her bed. And, you know, again, I didn't really want to like pretty it up too much, because I wanted to show like, you know, how this would look like, right? You know, for a average person in their bedroom, how this Joovv would you know, would look like, you know, and just what, you know, what average people would do, you know, installing a Joovv, right? So like just kind of like want to show you how that would look like. And so this is, you know, the Joovv on the wall. Finally kind of like get everything, all straightened out. As you could probably have found out from the previous, couple scenes, the issues that I have, but, it's for the most part solved, right? So, it might, in the previous kind of like scenes and things like that, it might look like that I'm trying to, like dissuade you from getting this Joovv, and that's really not the point. But like the thing is, like, I just wanted to show you kind of like certain things that you might have trouble with in terms of installing the Joovv against the wall. And I think that they just probably just going through some growing pains, if you will, on their instructions. And I hope maybe if they watch this video, they could like correct these things that I found so far. So despite the fact that there's these hiccup in terms of installing it, that that's still like, I think the health benefits from the Joovv far outweighs the fact that like, hey, maybe it might be a little bit complicated to install, but overall I got it up. And whenever I have questions, and this is kind of like the part where a lot of reviews don't include, right, is like, how is their customer service? Are they responsive? Are they good? And my experience with Joovv customer service so far has been stellar. Like, they have been very helpful. Response time usually is 24 hours or less, and they even responded to me during the weekends. So they do work during the weekends, which is super awesome. So like, I think I had a question like Friday night, and they answered my question like Saturday morning, which was great because that's when I had time to sort of like, have time to debug, various things on this Joovv. And they've been and this is the part where I feel like, hey, I spent $4,000 on this, and and they're being responsive to my needs. So awesome customer service in terms of like my question on how to install the light and whatnot. So there's that. So, again, like, this is kind of like how it looks like in like a real space, right? None of the marketing branding sham that you see it from other people's video. This is just how it looks like in my corner of the, of the apartment. So like, this is kind of like maybe what you might expect if you live in a small apartment per se. So let's go ahead and, turn on this light, right? And see how it looks like. And first of all, just quick disclaimer is when I do turn this on, it's gonna look kind of weird in front in the camera. It might hurt your eyes. It will be kind of like red, right? It is infrared that we're talking about. So it is going to be red, and the fan is gonna turn on from the light, and you can hear the fan from the light, and it may be a little bit loud. So I'm gonna try to speak louder so that I can over so that you can hear what I'm saying. And when I say the fan is loud, I'm not saying like it's loud like a jet engine, but like what I'm saying is you may not be able to hear me as well, without the fan. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna turn this puppy on, and let's just check it out. All right, so I'm gonna go over here, and I can't really show you these buttons because I'm right against the wall. So I'm just gonna turn it on, and this is with infrared and near infrared turn on at the same time. And Joovv have made it very clear that the near infrared is almost naked to the naked eye, right? It's almost, invisible to the naked eye. So you're not gonna see that, but I think I might be able to kind of like reproduce the near infrared. Later on in this video, I'm gonna show you that, just to kind of show you like how you can tell that the near infrared is on. So I'm gonna turn this on. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, this is when the light is completely on. So this is kind of like how it looks like, top to bottom, all four of them turned on. I don't know if you can hear the fan. Like I said, the fan is not too loud. I mean, you could hear it, for sure. But it's not like loud like a jet engine per se, I think you might be able to pick up from this camera, like the sound from it. So this is kind of like how it looks like, when you turn this on. And one thing too, if you happen to live in a neighborhood that perhaps have a neighborhood watch or whatever, and you have a house, right? And and the thing is like one time I was actually driving back home, and my wife was using this unit, and then from the outside, it literally, when I was driving and I'm looking up the window, it literally looks like, you know, someone has like a red laser beam shining at me, as if like, you know, like I played way too many video games, but like it feels like, you know, there was like a sniper or something that was like pointing right at me or whatever. So if you happen to live in a neighborhood watch, you might want to let your neighbor know that you got this red light, and it has nothing to do with you know, any types of you know, wrong, you know, people might think like something must be going on in your house, right, with a red light shining out from a window like that. So like just let your, you know, neighbor know if there's a neighborhood watch, because like you probably don't want to be like, because you're gonna stand in front of this light naked, and you definitely don't want to be don't have to have a knock on the door and the cops is there, right? So you know, you might just want to let your neighbors know if you happen to be living in a you know, neighborhood that have a neighborhood watch and whatnot. So the next thing is, so this is, like I said, this is a demo of infrared and near infrared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off and then just toggle to the near infrared, and let's take a look. I think, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe it is invisible to the naked eye, but we're going to give it a try to see if we could like get the near infrared, you know, light turned on, and you could kind of see to make sure that if you happen to have a Joovv unit, you want to make sure that the near infrared is working. This may be one of the way to tell. So I'm going to turn this unit off. All right, I'm going to toggle just the near infrared. So like you see these lights here. So some of them are infrared, and then the one that weren't turned on earlier, those are the near infrared light. So like they are turned on, but they're near infrared. So I think it's probably one of these guys that are near infrared. So I'm just going to turn on the near infrared and see what happens. All right, I just turned on the near infrared. I don't know if you can see, but I definitely can tell. You see these little red, like slight pink tinge around it? You see these here? These are, you know, before, right? You couldn't see it, right? Before I turn it on. So I think these are the near infrared. So that's kind of like one way to tell that, if to make sure that your near infrared is working. So like here, right? You see all these that are before it didn't have this pink tinge. So these are the near infrared. So I'm gonna turn it off just to make sure that, like, you know, I know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna turn this off now. And I don't know if I don't know if you saw, but there are these tinge turned off. So those are the near infrared, guys. So as you can see, you know, this unit does work, and that's one way if you want to test out the near infrared capability of this light. So let me see, what do I have next on my little scratch pad here? Yeah, so a couple of things I want to just kind of like, you know, as a footnote, just to you know, talk about, and now I'll wrap up on this video is so like there's some link. So these are actually 4 units, right? And they all kind of, they have this modular design where it's kind of like Lego pieces, if you will. So there's definitely some linking that you need to do to get these all linked up. And so what got me working, what got my Joovv working is so like there in the back of the light, I think there's like 3 different modes. There's a follow, lead, and neutral. And on the literature, it was kind of like confusing because one page would say switch it all to neutral, the other page would say do one of them do a follow, and the rest, I'm sorry, do lead, and the rest of them follow. So what worked for me is I have one of the device, which is this top right unit over here. I have that as being lead, and then these 3 as follow. And that's what I kind of like, how I got it working in terms of like linking it up. And another thing that you might have trouble with is, you can't see it here, but basically installing the floor bumpers at the bottom. There's no instructions, as of the recording of this video, there's no instructions as to how you can install them. I actually have to contact customer support. So if you rewind this video maybe a couple minutes back, you'll see a scene where I show you how to install the floor bumpers on this Joovv if you got this unit with a kind of like a wall hook extension, if you will. So like you might want to like just look at a video to see how I kind of got the floor bumper working. Like I said, as of the recording of this video, there's no video that shows you how to install those floor bumpers. I had to contact customer service, and they're quite responsive on it, so no biggie on that. And the last thing is, in my earlier video, you probably also see me pointing out the kind of like the power cable connection between the top one and the bottom one, and there are some chirality issue with their instruction. And sorry, I have to use the word chirality. That's the best way I can describe it. If you study OChem, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there are some chiral issue that they need to fix on their instruction because it conflicts with their video. So what I did was follow what the video shows you in terms of how to connect these power cables. Do it exactly what it says on the video, and you should be fine. So again, to recap, in terms of connecting, syncing the communication cable, I use lead, and the rest of them being follow. And I also, in terms of connecting the power cable, I use the video instruction. You can rewind this, back probably like midway back in this review, and you'll see what I mean on that. So, having said all that, I still believe in this product. I still believe the health benefits of this product. My wife, Mrs. Product Review, will be doing a kind of like more of a health-oriented, review of this Joovv. She's been using it for quite a while daily, right? And so she's gonna like talk more about that. And so the purpose of this video is really more like how to set it up, kind of like the issues that I have setting it up. But overall, I still believe in the product. I like this product very much. So yeah, and if you like this video, be sure to like it, comment it, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So besides that, Mr. Product Review out.